Are you an entrepreneur? Do you have a service that you want to sell? Maybe you want to sell subscription to your users. You have a value that you want to bring to them, but there are so many products out there. It's really, information is not really all collected at the same time. You have to go through the learning curve. You have to build everything from the scratch. And at the end of the day, you might not even succeed. Why? Because it takes so long for you to do it. You have to spend months to just educate yourself, learn how to build it. And at the end, when you build it, either you're not motivated, or even you're motivated enough to actually build it and do everything right, but you're just too late. So don't worry about it. Bildap is for you. Let's get started. And how the purchase flow works, they go for a payment, and I'm using a demo account because I'm on the local, but this is exactly what your user will experience. You put your user, you put their information, and have in mind, this is everything that if you want to give them a promotion, if you want to calculate tax, if you want to have information about your customer on the Stripe for later reasons, whatever you want to use it for, you can basically, everything is integrated for you. All you have to do is just customize your UI in the Stripe, set up your tax system, and if you have any promotion, just set up your promotion there and make it available if you want to launch any campaign on it. And then after you setting up everything, your customer pays for it. It gets redirected into the website, and there would be a record of that sales in the admin. And of course, you can see they get access to the product. And if you want to actually do something else with your product, if you want to build a preferred product, if you want to set up the pricing for it, you can do all of this being edited. And if you want to hide a product that you're going to launch maybe later, you can publish or unpublish it. But the most important thing is that if you want to actually sell, now that your customer bought it, you want to release the product to them, there is a button here. You can actually create a release, and you can basically, idea is that no matter what type of business you do, your product's going to evolve over time. Maybe it doesn't, that's all right. You don't give any more releases, but if your product evolves over time, you can actually release it in a different stages or with different versions. Like for example, here we have the version 1.00. We can put a release note, lovely release note for our loyal customers. And if you have any changes, you put it here. I'm not putting anything here for now. And then you can choose what type of data that you're actually providing as a release for your customer. In this case, we actually have a file. You go to the files that you have. We have a release here. We choose it. It gets uploaded to the system. If your release, you want to label that button for a download, you can actually put a caption on it. And the important thing is the release or the type of the release that you have. If it's the state, if the state of it is ready for you to present it to your customer, that's fine. Choose the release and let it go to be published to your users. So now from now here, any other customers that bought this product, they get the email that the announcement that this version is available, so they can go and basically now download the product. And how they can download it, if they go back to the website, if they look at their own product, now you can see that button, everything is available to them. And if they do it, the product gets released for them and they can download that file. And this is basically what we use to release our own product to you. So this is how you actually get your product. So what else do we have here? We have users. You can get information about your users. You can change their personal information if there would be a request for it. If you want to give them more access than they need, or maybe if you want to give appoint another admin to your system, you can do here. You can also manage your contents here. So we have a template for an email template, so you don't have to go and change the code in order to achieve that. So even your basic operator without any code knowledge can just go here and update the template of the email that you send to your customer. The more other important stuff. Pages. Maybe you want to actually create a privacy policy, make terms and condition. Maybe you want to build a contact us or any other thing that you want to publish as a content for your customers. So you can just create a new page here and do all of those things here. Or if you can edit it, there is a very nice text editor here, and you can basically just go and change this however you like, or whatever you want to give them access to other places. There is also a setting bar that you can basically set the for a branding of your company, for a title, and these are basically stuff for a landing page. If you send an email, there is always a logo and a footer that you can put address, anything that you need that you might need for a compliance reasons, you can put there. And also on top of it, if you track your email, you can put a script here, and this script gets injected into the body of the email. And on top of it, if you have a certain need for the SEO for a landing page, you can set up those parameters here for your customers to see. And more important, the tag manager. If you want to use Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, if you want to say use Salesforce tags or pixels or Facebook pixels or any other software that tracks the user from the analytical point or social media point, you can actually put it here. And the good thing here is that we actually have a consent feature on the page. And if you go there at the bottom of the page, there is a cookie consent. When you press it, it actually triggers this page and asks your user if they will consent for the use of certain data collection. So if you want to be aligned with GDPR or any other laws with the different regions, which generally speaking, GDPR is uses very broad spectrum of the limitations that you have to follow. So generally, if you be compliant with GDPR, you're good to go with everywhere else. And here you can basically allow users to give you consent if they want to actually allow you to collect information about their analytics or social media. And here you can basically fill up all of these scripts here. And if user doesn't consent to it, none of these gets executed on the page. Let's dive right into the code, and I give you a small demo to show you how to set it up, what you need to actually consider for configurations, and how you basically run the software on your local, or if you want to deploy it. So all it needs is basically the branding for your company or your product that you're selling, how to connect to your database. Please keep in mind we're using a PostgreSQL as a database for this software. If you want to actually integrate the Google authentication and you want to just have an OAuth on it, you can also set up the Google client and the secret. And there are a few other things like there is a secret auth that we auto-generated if you go through the process, but we also have a documentation here that walks through all of the things that you need. And this template, basically, you have to mention that where is the path that the website can be reached, and information about your email server for SMTP, and how to basically set up your payment gateway for the Stripe. And if you do this, you're good to go for launching your product. And from here, all you need to do is to just launch it and customize it. But if you do not want to set up this way and you just don't want to deal with the code, we also have something else for you. We have a demo for you for the setup. And if you follow these documentation, you can basically launch what we have as an installation wizard, which is located at 4000 port. When you do this, all you need to do, follow with this process. Basically, it uses the same parameters that you have, and you can just parameterize your work, put all of the things that you need. I'll put just test here for just quickly show you. And if you're not certain that what you want to put is still ready, or if you're still not ready to fill up this thing, you can skip every step. That's fine. Application is still functions, but the thing is that when it comes to using it, it's not going to operate if you don't set up your email or payment or the other things. So we encourage you to take your time here, go through the configuration, and we have basically everything planned out for you, and you can go through it and set up everything. And for this case, for example, I skip this one and I skip the payment just for quickly show you how it works. You can either copy this code, or you can basically, if you're just lazy like me, just press this button and it plays the configuration for you in the page, which in this case, if I actually go to the .env, this is all the configuration that we saw that got copied. Of course, I'm not going to use this to show our demo, but here is how it works. So you don't have to do anything. You just have to basically go through this nice UI, set up everything, and you'll be taken care of. And by that, you basically have everything set up. If you run this setup, there is always going to be a backup of the older version here. So you're not never going to lose any data or anything if you accidentally came across this setup and went through it and you pressed it final and you maybe something was wrong or the configuration was incorrect. You always have a backup of that configuration here and time stamped. And that's it. And now you can basically go for the system, and all you have to do is to just follow the documentation to how to run the program. If you go to the bottom, what you have to keep in mind is that the version of the Node.js is really important. So we use NVM, and there's a documentation at the top of this file that teaches you how to install it. But essentially what it does is that it tunes the software to what we actually consider as a stable version for this software. So if you just run the NVM I or NVM install, it automatically uses these NVM RC here for version 2011.1, and it basically sets up the environment to work with that version of Node.js. And from there, you just have to do basically npm install to install your packages and all the dependencies. And once you have that, you basically go ahead, and if it's the first time you run the migration to set up the tables and all the objects required for a database to operate, like relationships and the enums and all of those things that your Postgres database needs to operate. And after that, there are essential data that it has to be filled into the database for a first time to operate everything smoothly. So you can run the seed function as well, and seed command. You can run the seed command, and after that you can also pair it with two different environment variables. That one allows you to set up the data with the dummy data if you want to do test or do anything else that you require some sort of basic data as the dummy data, or if you want to clean up the whole database and rebuild the seed data from the scratch, you can truncate, you can enable the truncate value. And after that, you just run the npm dev, which in this case, we both done all of these steps before. So all I have to do is just run the npm dev, and it goes through. You just have to wait for a bit. It takes time to compile the pages and everything. But when it comes up, you have access to all the front-end and back-end APIs, and everything going to work with you. If you have at any point you had any error or any problem, my recommendation is to always look into the .env file. Maybe something is wrong, or maybe a parameter is not set up properly. So that would take care of you. Once you have this, you basically see it starts compiling the pages that you have, and by that you can just reach out to that page. For first time on every page, it takes a while to compile it, but after that on the production, it runs very smooth and quickly. So you're not going to have any problem launching your products, and everything is ready. And in terms of customizations, if you go to the front end and app, there are different pages here, including admin and main. And what we aim to do is to basically, for every component and everything that is used here, we have basically standardized everything that you need to launch it, like the testimonial card or headers or the call to actions, everything, or carousel. If you want to build a new page on top of it, please have in mind we use certain libraries like Tailwind, Flowbyte, or there is a Tabler library for icons. And these are basically the standard things that we encourage you to use, since everything is standardized here, and the template and the design system is also here. And this system also supports both light and a dark theme. And if everything works out and you want to make a customization, we recommend you to do all the customization of the design system into this flowbyte.ts file. And this basically contains all the components that we use and standardize. And if you want to know how to use the Flowbyte, you can say like Flowbyte React, and this brings you to this page. And this is basically all the documentation for every components that you need to develop your website. So you don't have to rely on us keeping you waiting for anything. You can basically go ahead and install anything that you want from this page. Like for example, if you want to know how to use the button, that is exactly how we use it. We have a button here, there is a color you can set, there is a pill, and there is all the information about the template of it. So go ahead with this. Happy developing, and thank you. If you have any questions, please reach out to us by hey@bildap.co, and we will take care of you. Thank you.